Jason Momoa's preparation for his role as Kaʻiana in Chief of War was a very intense, multifaceted journey that went far beyond typical acting. Playing the legendary Hawaiian chief and warrior was, for Momoa, a deeply personal and cultural mission, a way to honor his heritage, reclaim his story, and bring authenticity to a narrative that Hollywood had long overlooked. His process involved physical training, emotional depth, cultural immersion, and creative collaboration, all rooted in a profound sense of responsibility to his ancestors and community. From the very start, Momoa viewed the role of Kaʻiana not just as a character to portray, but as a living legacy to embody. In interviews, he expressed how this was a sacred opportunity to tell an indigenous story from within, rather than through the distorted outsider perspectives that have often dominated Hollywood's portrayal of native cultures. For Momoa, Kaʻiana was more than a historical figure. He was family. This intimate connection fueled his commitment to portraying the chief with respect, honor, and authenticity. Momoa trained rigorously to embody Kaʻiana's strength and agility, while exploring the chief's emotional complexity through historical study. Immersed in Hawaiian language and customs, and guided by cultural advisors, he ensured authenticity and respect. The collaborative Ohana atmosphere strengthened cultural integrity and offered Momoa a spiritual reconnection. He also helped shape Kaʻiana's portrayal, blending historical accuracy with storytelling to amplify indigenous perspectives often absent in mainstream media. For Jason Momoa, preparing to become Kaʻiana in Chief of War was far more than professional preparation. It was a deeply personal mission to honor his heritage, educate viewers, and uplift Hawaiian culture on a global stage. One of the most important parts of Jason Momoa's journey into Chief of War was really diving deep into Hawaiian culture, especially learning the Hawaiian language. Since most of the show's dialogue is in Hawaiian, it wasn't enough to just get the words right. Momoa had to connect with what those words really mean, the history behind them, and the spirit they carry. His mission was to honor the language itself, which is such a powerful part of Hawaiian identity and spirituality. Jason spent a lot of time working with language coaches and cultural advisors who helped him not only with pronunciation, but also with understanding the deeper mindset behind the language. For him, learning Hawaiian wasn't like picking up a new skill for a role. It was like stepping into a whole world view, a way of thinking and being that's woven into the culture and history of his people. Speaking Hawaiian on screen felt like an act of respect and a way to keep the language alive, especially since it's something so precious that's been through tough times. Beyond just the language, Momoa and the whole team took part in traditional ceremonies like the awa rituals, which are meant to bless the land, the project, and everyone involved. These moments brought a really spiritual layer to the whole process. It reminded him and everybody else that this wasn't just storytelling for entertainment, it was about connecting to his ancestors and the land, honoring a lineage that's been passed down for generations. This kind of cultural immersion grounded Momoa in a way that went far beyond acting. It gave him a deep sense of responsibility to carry these stories with care and truth, and that connection made his performance not only authentic but truly heartfelt. Kaʻiana was no ordinary man. He was a fierce, skilled warrior and a respected chief. For Jason Momoa, stepping into Kaʻiana's shoes meant more than just learning lines and showing up on set. It meant fully transforming his body and mindset to live and breathe the strength, endurance, and power of a true Hawaiian warrior. This wasn't just typical actor prep. It was a deep physical journey that pushed Momoa to new limits. From day one, Momoa committed himself to a tough, intense fitness routine, designed to build the kind of strength and stamina Kaʻiana would have needed. The physical demands of the role were huge. Battle scenes required not just looking strong, but moving with speed, agility, and precision, like someone who had trained in combat their whole life. Momoa focused on building muscle endurance while maintaining flexibility, because a warrior doesn't just rely on brute force, but fluidity and control in every move. One of the most meaningful parts of this physical prep was learning to handle traditional Hawaiian weapons. Momoa spent hours training with cultural experts and stunt coordinators to master weapons like the leomano, a shark-tooth club, and traditional spears. Momoa learned how to use each weapon with the same techniques and reverence that warriors centuries ago would have had. Every strike, block, and maneuver in those fight scenes had to feel real and true to Hawaiian history. Momoa took that seriously, knowing that misrepresenting these tools would be disrespectful to Kaʻiana's legacy and Hawaiian culture. But the physical transformation didn't stop there. Momoa also trained in horseback riding and navigating Hawaii's rugged landscapes because the filming locations were anything but gentle. Shooting in lava fields, volcanic slopes, and dense forests meant Momoa had to be ready for anything. These places are tough, tough, unforgiving, and physically demanding. He wasn't just acting in a controlled studio environment, he was out there, moving across the same land that Kaʻiana himself once roamed and fought to protect. That connection to the land added a very powerful layer to his physical preparation. To add even more depth to his warrior training, Momoa also practiced martial arts and hand-to-hand combat. This helped him build the kind of fluid, natural power a seasoned fighter needs. Someone who can adapt quickly, flow between offense and defense, and hold their ground with confidence. These skills made his movements on screen believable and commanding. We don't just see a guy acting tough. We see a warrior who knows what it means to fight with heart and honor. This physical transformation pushed Momoa's body and mind, and in doing so, it helped him step fully into the role. It allowed him to honor the fierce warrior that Kaʻiana was, and bring that energy alive for audiences in a powerful way and deeply rooted in Hawaiian history. What really set this project apart for Momoa was how involved he was behind the scenes, not only as an actor, but as a co-creator and producer. That gave him the power to shape Kaʻiana's story in a way that felt real and had the emotional truth that goes beyond surface-level storytelling. Working closely with co-creator Thomas Paʻa Sibbett, Momoa found a creative partnership deeply rooted in their shared Hawaiian heritage and love for their culture. In an interview with Collider, Momoa said, "Thomas and I have this shared vision grounded in our Hawaiian roots. We were able to bring our own stories and ancestors into the storytelling to make it authentic and heartfelt." The two of them dug deep into history but also brought in their personal and ancestral experiences, blending those to build a story that honored the complexity of Kaʻiana and the time he lived in. Momoa often talked about watching Sibbett grow as a storyteller during the process, how their collaboration wasn't just about making a show but about crafting a tribute, a piece of living history that carried the weight and pride of their people. The trust and respect between them created a powerful creative energy, pushing the series into a space of reverence and truth. Emotionally, this role demanded a lot from Momoa. Kaʻiana was a man caught between worlds, balancing different loyalties and identities during a pivotal, turbulent era in Hawaiian history. Portraying him meant diving into those internal conflicts, the doubts, the triumphs, the heartbreaks. All of that made Kaʻiana human. For Momoa, it wasn't enough to play a one-dimensional hero. He wanted to show the full humanity of this chief, including his vulnerabilities and contradictions. Momoa also spoke about how the whole creative process stirred something spiritual inside him. There was this feeling that they were awakening something bigger than themselves, especially when nature seemed to respond. The eruption of volcanoes during filming felt like a sign, a reminder of the raw power and connection to the land that Kaʻiana embodied. Momoa emphasized the responsibility they carried, stating, "This is not just entertainment, it's about honoring our people, our culture, and the real history that's been ignored or twisted for so long." Every scene, every word, every moment had to carry that weight with care. His connection to the role went beyond performance. It became a personal mission to tell the story with respect, honesty, and heart. For Jason Momoa, playing Kaʻiana was a real healing journey. It was about honoring his ancestors, working through old wounds, and reclaiming a story that's been silenced or misunderstood for way too long. Chief of War turned into a genuine tribute to Hawaiian culture, told by someone who truly understands it. For Momoa, that connection became a lasting legacy he's proud to carry with him. Thanks for watching Collider. See you next time.